podcast has stories of real-life events and true crime that happens every day. These stories may contain adult language and graphic or disturbing details not suitable for everyone. Listener discretion is advised.
132 in Bush, I've got him at gunpoint. Check the left phone for going full evacuation at this time. They're pulling them out.
10-1-1. Advise ready for entry camp.
God!
Welcome to another episode of War Stories. I'm Tom.
And I'm Chuck.
And I'm playing hurt today. I'll share a picture on Locker Room this week because I showed it to Chuck.
Does not look good. That does not look good at all.
Yeah, I was doing a fight scene in the play. The play closes today. We're doing this early Sunday morning because the play closes today, and I've got a performance to go to. But
you would think it was a UFC fight scene. It wasn't.
Yeah. So for this week, we're doing a debriefing some videos, and I think we try to come up with a theme. So this week, we have two that are in a theme, but we have a third one that was sent in by a friend of the show, my wife.
It's wild card,
and neither one of us have watched it. But I don't think it's cops behaving badly. I think I have a feeling based on the headline, it's cops behaving awesomely. So we shall see. But anyway, how are you?
I'm okay.
Thank you for covering our part 2 without me. I appreciate that.
Yeah. It took me a minute to figure it out, and I think I was able to figure it out. Okay. Honestly, that whole the screen's completely different when you switch over to the operator, and I was like, I've been here once before. Let me see if I can remember. And then it's pretty. Honestly, it's really user friendly. It's really good. It's way better than the last system we used. But yeah, no, it was good, and you're welcome. And no, I'm doing all right. I just dealing with some heart stuff still, and dealing with some really thick blood, and I'm trying to get it down, and I just can't. And I've gone through the fucking
skin and thin blood.
Yeah, this is super thick blood though. Like it's like fucking motor oil running through my veins. So I noticed it after I got injured, because before I never had an issue. Right, completely fine, good blood pressure. Got injured, dealing with a lot of stress of some shit that I can't really talk about right now until I'm retired, and then
once you're retired,
my blood pressure spiked, fucking, and the next thing I know, because I had been giving blood regularly and getting everything tested in labs and stuff, and then everything was pretty good. And the next thing I know, I get injured and I went sedentary for like 6 months. My blood thickness, the volume of my blood just went up like crazy, like double digits overnight.
Yeah,
and I've been trying to get that down ever since, and I think a lot of it has to do with just being a sedentary lifestyle right now, because you're being injured and you're hurt and it hurts to walk around.
I just
got
for retirement. I gained a bunch of weight because between the medication they had me put on,
right, and
my inability to do the things I needed to do.
You get really lazy, bro.
And
it's not that you're lazy; it's you're depressed.
Yeah. Well,
so
depression causes you to feel lazy,
right? And the doc was like, you need to walk more, and I'm like, cool, dude. So knowing me and my fucking dumbass, he's like, walk around the block once to start and do it 3 times a week and then go up from there. I'm like, yeah, okay. That's not how I roll, dude. If I'm going to walk, I'm going to fucking walk. Like, it's
we always overdo it, and then we can't get back into it because we're like,
you hurt yourself.
You feel so defeated, and we feel, you hurt, and then you got to take 2 weeks off. That's been the hardest part about getting back into the gym with injuries, is to learn my limitations and just
check your ego, bro. That's
check your ego.
Exactly what it is.
But more importantly, you guys out there, veterans, cops, firefighters, dude, I've been retired 10 years now. It's great. Take care of yourself so you could be retired for dude, there's a lot of cops. They don't make it past 5-6 years after retirement.
I know, dude. They die because of that. Fucking whole thing. Their heart, their blood pressure. Like, I have high blood pressure, right? So I'm on fucking pills, and so
I'm lucky. I got my
that in check. Yeah, and you don't get that in check, it goes up. I know a lot of cops who never get it in check, and blood pressure gets worse because they don't know how to act, and they just sit in their house all day depressed,
Yeah.
Their blood pressure stays the same. Their thickness of their blood goes up, and then they stroke out, right?
Right.
I know a couple other people who are like, fuck this, I'm going to go do everything in the world. And then they go they start doing everything. They never let themselves get depressed because they're happy to have finished their career. Mm-hmm. But I think a lot of it is different for guys who feel like there was shit still left on the table, guys who were injured or didn't get to do everything.
Yeah.
Yada, yada. And it's kind of depressing, especially when you can't and you're hurt after a long career. Guys who get out that are still able to do things that aren't in pain every day. God bless those guys, because that's very rare. Yeah. Or they get to surgery and it worked, and they're like, I'm good, let's go do whatever. And they just constantly keep moving, and their blood pressure medication actually goes down. That happened to my buddy Dan. He retired, and his medications that he was taking actually went down. Yeah. And he was like on 4 blood pressure medications. Now he's only on like 1 or 2. Yeah. Which is
you can do it
a lot, but
you can do it. Yeah, you shouldn't be on blood pressure medications if you can avoid it.
Right. And so I'm on a small dose. I actually dropped the dose today because I had a low blood pressure. Fucking funny. Once I started to walk a little bit more, my blood pressure started to come down. I don't know if I had to change the thickness of the blood after 2 days, but that second day, like I was telling you in the green room, I almost passed out in the middle of the walk at the halfway point, and I didn't know what to do, and I couldn't see. And
yeah, that was a eye opener for me, is going back to the gym and pushing a couple of heavy things around. And this was a couple of years ago, but pushing a couple of heavy things around and getting lightheaded. And I went, "Ooh, yeah, I need to do this more, but less." Like,
right. So you can
more frequently, less pressure on myself. So anyway, so this week's theme is cops behaving badly, like we said. And this first one, we've got 2 videos of the same incident that we're going to watch, I think. Or are we just going to watch one? I don't know.
We're going to watch both videos. There's 3 videos. Two videos that I sent you are the exact same incident, but one is a longer video. Okay. Now we always, this is Contempt of Cop. We kind of talked about it, and this gives a good example of what Contempt of Cop is. Yeah. However, me being, a street cop and never really promoting and having love for my street cops, we're not going to sit here and show you some First Amendment auditor getting the fucking gall of some other dude and getting the best of him, right? Some street copper trying to do the Lord's work that's just pissed off. No, we're going to get you that dude who sits up in the ivory tower.
Yeah.
We're going to give you those chiefs.
Yeah, because the chiefs are often the worst offenders. And we'll also show you, what's that?
We have the video of the drunk chief too, if we want to show it. I think we already showed it on this channel.
Yeah, we did, but I have another one that I want to add to our slate as a little surprise for you.
The naughty chiefs.
Yeah, naughty chiefs. This one's even. It's worse than it. It's more interesting than a chief, I think, in some ways. So let's start with the short video of our Georgia sheriff and city cop sergeant and their interaction on a traffic stop. This does not go well. And if we're talking about egos, right? We were talking about Chuck's ego. We're talking about my ego. When you have to set your ego aside and do the right thing, right? Whether it's getting back to the gym or going to the doctor, take care of yourself. Sometimes that means understanding and not seek to understand before seek to being understood, and part of that is knowing that everybody shit stinks, and don't let this be you. Here we go. So this is Georgia sheriff, and it says sheriff, right? So I don't know if this guy is the actual sheriff or if he is just a deputy or a high-ranking deputy, because he's got collar brass that says TC. But right above his name, it does say sheriff. So
inside the city or out here? Just right here. Okay. Go pull the video at Valero. You get on my traffic stop again, I will arrest you. Yeah, I'll arrest you right now. Do it, buddy. And we're going to do it. Charges. Do it. Do it, Ode. Go for it. Do it. There's cameras at Valero, and there's cameras at Napa that see you pulled out. Shut your mouth. You don't talk to me like that. I'm not your boy. Talk to you. Do it.
So let's back up a little bit. What you have is this poor driver of this truck pulled over, and a city cop and a sheriff's deputy are at his window arguing over who's allowed to pull who over.
Thank you, sir. Everybody, thank you. Thank you.
Did he say he's code 4? I'm code 4, motherfucker. Okay, so let's watch the longer video of this. I think that will be a little more illuminating.
I think it's a longer video of that one.
Yeah. So, now, I'm not surprised by this. Let's put it that way. So here we go. This is the longer one.
I guess.
Inside the city or out here? Go pull the video at Valero. You get on my traffic stop again, I will arrest you. Yeah, I'll arrest you right now. Do it, buddy.
I'll arrest you.
Do it.
Yeah,
Do it, Erd. Do it.
He called my first name. Do it, Earl.
There's cameras in there for the CJ. Shut your mouth. You don't talk to me like that. I'm not your boy. Talk to you, boy. You a boy. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Everybody, thank you. Thank you.
Yep, that's exactly what you got to do. Get in your car. Don't. See.
Wow, how rowdy is that? The sheriff of a North Georgia county and a city police officer threatened to arrest each other in the middle of a traffic stop. The Hiawassee officer's body cam caught the heated exchange. 11 Alive Chief Investigator Brendan Keefe with a video through open records and from one of his sources in Towns County. Brendan?
And that's right, Jeff. It's an extraordinary reporting. Two cops, one the elected sheriff himself, the other the Hiawassee police officer, exchanging profanities of the officer after the driver essentially wasn't in ear range. But those threats of arrest in front of the driver
wasn't in ear range,
cited for speeding. The clash occurred last week amid a jurisdiction dispute where the Towns County Sheriff accused Hiawassee officers of making stops and pursuing suspects outside the city limits.
Inside the city or out here? Just right here. Okay. Go pull the video at Valero. You get on my traffic stop again, I will arrest you. Yeah, I'll arrest you. Do it, buddy. And we're going to do it.
Okay, so
the politeness and their shit talking is fucking hilarious.
So now I live in an area now where this kind of thing could theoretically happen.
Oh yeah.
In California, you don't get this kind of stuff for the most part.
You don't give a fuck.
Well, but also you're a peace officer in this whole state, right? Like we know that. Now, you're more likely to get your boss chewing your ass for doing police work outside of your jurisdiction because why are you outside of your area of responsibility? Then you are to get... What?
Oh, I'm sorry. I was going to say I actually ran into a similar situation like this with 3 different agencies because we all butted up against one another. And it was a traffic accident where someone died.
Nobody wanted to take it?
Well, yeah, but the person whose fault it was, I can actually tell you that story offline, but the person whose fault it was chased a suspect into a neighboring city, which is very fucking close, right? On the freeway, which now brings in the California Highway Patrol.
Right.
And the dude wrecks out, gets ejected into a fucking stanchion, pops his fucking head off, dies, right? It was my TC. I get there.
Oh God.
Everyone's already there. Like, I'm like, what the fuck? And it wasn't any of our units. It was the 2 other agencies, and they're already talking. I'm like, well, this is fucking weird. And everyone was looking at me and my partner, and they're kind of like talking shit and like, hey, like, this is your fucking handle. This is your handle. Get your traffic unit out here. You guys need to handle this. And I was like, first of all, I just got here. Why doesn't everyone just calm down? Let me go look at the scene. Right. And then I look over at, because my dad was CHP, and I know about skid marks, right? Because my dad taught me. And I also know CHP will never stop on a skid mark, right? That's destroying evidence, right? Because that's part of their evidence in their crime scene investigation for TCs. And I look over and I shine my light underneath this fucking, I'm just like, I'm going to look. Because I was kind of looking at where the trajectory and everything, and I'm like, well, that doesn't make any fucking sense. So I look over at the off-ramp where the CHP sergeant's vehicle sitting, and I look and I'm like, oh, fuck, those are fresh skids. And I bring them over at an earshot, to be polite because, He's a supervisor. And I go, hey, brother, can you give me a look-see under your car and tell me what that looks like? I shine my flashlight, and he goes, fuck. He goes, it's our handle. It's our handle. And everyone's like, no, it's not. No, it's not. And this was after about 20 minutes of people arguing. And I just was like, I let them argue at one another. Everyone's fucking chipping.
Right.
Our fucking traffic unit's there. And here
Was
comes
it
me
his
just
car?
looking around. Huh?
Was it his supervisor car?
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And I look under and I was like, pop. And I said, hey, brother, come here.
Now explain to those who don't understand why they would be so quick to take it when he discovered the tire marks, because maybe there are people that don't understand how CHP works and their mindset.
So anything that happens on the freeway is theirs. They will not give it up. They will not. It's theirs. Anything that happens, anything like that has to do with that freeway, they are very prideful of their shit, and they will not like. They will fucking.
The rule in our city, I don't know if it was the rule in your city. If it happens on the on-ramp, the city owns it because it started in the city. If it happens on the off-ramp, the CHP owns it because it started on the freeway. But that's about it. Like if it's on the freeway at all, once they get off the on-ramp and they're onto the freeway proper, that it's theirs, right? They
100%,
it's ours.
Yeah, and the way it came off, it was only like 8 feet, maybe 10 feet from the city street. And I was like, dude, you're parked on that motherfucker. And dude, these guys will get so insane. CHP will get so crazy with people that they will yell at firefighters for fucking up their scenes on the freeway for stopping their engines on
arresting one
tracks of the car.
Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, I saw that. Yeah. Fuck yeah,
that's down there in San Diego, right? I think it was a CHP
firefighter
hooking up, arresting. Oh my god! I bet you I can find that one.
It was a bad day for that guy. He fucked up. That was bad on him. He should never have done that to that firefighter. That was fucked up. And that dude is a fucking. He probably won such a big lawsuit. But CHP does have a good collective bargaining unit. I know from my dad, and they back their officers like 100%. I've seen CHP getting some wild shit, and they back them. But they're quick to know, especially like here's a good rule of thumb: like you need a contempt of cop situation with another copper, got to keep your cool, because the moment I pulled him away, I was like, "Hey, bro, check that out." Away from every earshot. If I would have been like, "Hey, numbnuts, look at your fucking shit. Your shop's parked on the skids," he would have been like, "No, fuck you." But I did it respectfully.
You did it respectfully. Right. There you go.
A CHP officer handcuffs a Chula Vista firefighter on the scene of a crash
because he wouldn't move the fire engine.
Over the radio as the incident escalated.
Good evening, and thanks for joining us tonight.
Because he wouldn't move the fire engine. Right. Yeah. And now that's the other thing. Like, I don't know about other agents. So some state agencies are better at this because some state agencies, they're actually state police. Unfortunately, with Highway Patrol, they're AAA with a gun. And so
look at
I know. They are not even part of the Department of Law Enforcement in California. They're actually part of the Department of Transportation.
Really?
And yeah, they are the CHPs. The way the Marine Corps is part of the Department of the Navy, the CHP is a branch of the Department of Transportation, which is why they get all those fat overtime shifts when they do construction on the freeway and stuff.
Which are great. But they do. It does say peace officer on their.
No, they are peace officers under the penal code, but they are not. They're when it comes to which division of California's government pays their paycheck, it does not come from the Division of Law Enforcement or the Attorney General's office. It comes from the Department of Transportation. So I watched them literally. We had a car overturn on the freeway, and a bunch of electronic shit like suspicious amounts of electronic shit, computers and whatnot, come spilling out of the car. And it was not like a van that was marked for delivery. It was just some flea bag warrant wagon with a bunch of computer shit. And so every cop on scene gets there, our city guys get there to assist first, agency assist, Highway Patrol's got a unit en route, overturned vehicle. We get there, we see that the occupants have fled into our city, and there's electronic shit all over the ground. Now, what does that tell you, Chuck?
that RSP.
Yeah.
They're there with receiving stolen property, and
Right.
not just receiving it, they probably fucking boosted it from somewhere.
So we're talking about burglars, we're talking about thieves, we're talking about tweakers, we're talking about, all that kind of stuff. And so we're talking about perimeters. We're talking about getting, teams out to see if we can't find these guys. And CHP shows up in the middle of us talking about that. And they're like, is anybody in the car? Like, nope, they fled on foot. It's like, all right, stand back. And we're like, well, don't you want to set up? And he's like, just stand back. We're like, well, let me tell you he's like, just stand back. Okay. Takes his patrol car, drives over the stolen property, and rams the vehicle out of the freeway to open up the lane of traffic.
Yeah, they can't keep that bitch shut down.
Because he does not care about the crime. He cares about opening up his freeway because, again, Department of Transportation. So this next one, let's see. This is also cops behaving badly. This is, hey, look at that. It's in Georgia again. I don't know what is in the water in Georgia, but they are not playing nice with each other.
They don't play nice with the suspects either.
Yeah, it's true too.
They're fucking wild.
It's the Wild West back there. So yeah. Don't screw around with Bubba cops, man. If they call each other Bubba, I called my fellow cops Bubba as a joke, but if they genuinely call each other Bubba, just don't mess with them. All right.
Say hello. Was that illegal?
No, sir. The reason why we're stopping you is because it's the wind intent violation.
I blinked my blue lights at you to let you know who I was.
Yes, sir. Well, we didn't know with it. That's not a government tag.
That is a unofficial tag. Okay. That tag's not even on file.
I see. Yes. Well, we have to catch up the bill to run it and everything like that, sir.
So I won't blink my blue lights at you next time. I'll let you just sit there. I was just speaking. I'm the police chief in Zebra.
Well, nice to meet you, sir.
Matt Polk worked for me. Your chief worked for me.
Yes, sir. There's no need to get upset.
I'm upset because I spoke to you when I come by, and now you're pulling me
over. Sir, I've never met you a day in my life.
I understand that.
Why are you being hostile?
Easy. I don't have to talk to you.
Okay.
I'm not talking to you.
Why are you being hostile?
Never walk between
y'all. Are y'all gonna write me a ticket? Are you gonna write me a ticket?
Sir, we're just trying.
I'm the police chief.
Why are you coming up to me like that? I'm doing my job, right?
What are you stopping for?
I'm stopping for one. It's because it's dark.
I have blue lights.
Okay, you know how many officers have blue lights?
Are you writing me a ticket? Yes or no? Are you writing me a ticket? I'm just leave.
At this point, yeah, he's making it impossible for them. They're doing a good job, actually. I would be like, give me supervisor right now.
Oh yeah,
give me supervisor right now. At this point, the best thing that could happen is car to come along and hit the police car because he's standing in between the two cars like you're not supposed to.
EFM 1175. Yeah, sir. I was explaining.
I don't want anything else from you.
Okay.
You let her do her job.
And now he's on the phone, of course.
Who the fuck's he gonna call? He's the chief of police.
He's calling the other chief, I'll bet.
I bet.
Yeah, so this chief, you can hear him. He is pissed that he even got pulled over. How dare you pull me over?
What's probably his personal vehicle that he decided to fucking put lights and shit on?
You think so? I don't think so. Nobody buys that shitty ass Chevy on purpose.
I've seen cops. They got into the SUVs the one time, the Ford Explorers. And they're like, I'm buying one because I have to have this off duty. It's so comfortable. I need to be in this right state of mind the whole time and never. I'm like, dude, all right, bro.
Yeah, it's like a old Malibu or an old
Malibu or Impala. Those are UC cars.
Yeah, right. So he goes up to
blacked out.
He has limo tent.
She's about bringing your driver's license back up.
And on the front too.
Yeah.
First, when we ran the tag, it came back to like a Dodge Ram, so we're just confirming it's not. Yes, sir.
It's a ghost tag.
Yes, sir. We're
No,
making yes, sir. Yeah, we're just.
You must have run it wrong. You must have run it wrong because you want to come back to a Dodge Ram.
We were confirmed it. They let us know everything.
So it's still coming back to a Dodge Ram now?
Sir, can I ask why you're so upset?
Is it still coming back to a Dodge Ram now?
No, we got it fixed. Why are you so upset?
No, you didn't fix it. Is it still coming back to a Dodge Ram right now?
No, it came back 9 on 5.
That's right, because you run it wrong.
Sir.
Somebody run it wrong. Either you did or they did.
We're about to get the information.
Okay, I got your chief on the phone right now. That's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
Can you calm down for us, please?
I appreciate your service. I appreciate your service.
All right.
I'm just saying, I spoke to you guys. I didn't have to do that. I could have eased on by y'all. I appreciate the job y'all out here doing.
Chief, I'm trying to be respectful with you.
I understand that. I understand.
I'm not raising my voice or nothing at you, right?
I understand.
All right, let's.
But I'm trying to tell you.
See, you know what this is right now? This guy knows
y'all never would have pulled me
he
over if I
pushed it too far. Chief, at this point, can't back down.
I'm not going to lie to you. I'm telling you straight up, okay? All right. But like I said, there's people out here impersonating police officer with blue lights.
Or you threw my license. She threw my license. If she is getting for me,
she'll bring it to you, sir.
Okay, well that's fine.
I'm just trying to. I'm trying to talk with you.
I don't want to talk anymore about it.
All right.
Yeah, this guy's doing a good job. This is a tough one to be on.
Yeah, I mean,
it's very unprofessional.
That chief could have handled it so much differently. I mean, like, hey guys, and explained it without getting all hot and bothered. But because he's the chief, he's got that that big dick syndrome.
Right.
Well, I'm more important than you. You should know who I am.
Yeah. What's the worst you've ever experienced with how people are behaving?
So
like pulling over another cop.
So I didn't necessarily pull over. Every cop I've pulled over that worked for our agency, just in a different part of the city, was always pretty cool. Was like, hey, I'm off duty, blah, blah, blah. I have a gun in the back seat. I just bought it. And I'm like, okay. Because I saw the fucking box, the Smith & Wesson box. He's like, look, I had one where he's on probation. Dude was super respectful. We've had a few that were like fucking assholes, and I've always heard about them, but I never really got to deal with them. I did deal with one thing one time where it was in a really affluent part of town. And it was up in the hills, and a lot of rich people, like multi-million-dollar homes, like million-dollar, like multiple million-dollar homes. And you could throw a rock and hit a house. It was fucking 0.25 or 2.5 million, $3 million. Like they're all fucking really rich areas. And I used to go do traffic control up there because there was some stop signs that people would just run at like 70 miles an hour because they never thought a cop would be there. So I would go sit there, and one day we're getting briefed, and they're like, hey, just to let you know, the chief of police and his they're doing a fundraising event up in this house up in the hill. I'm like, oh, I do traffic control right there. Like, okay, go do some traffic control. Just make sure everyone's like everyone's safe. And but at a certain time, get the fuck out of there, because we can't have any police presence in that area. I'm like, why? They're like, well, because if people are driving a little bit intoxicated, I'm like, oh, okay, like that's bullshit. So I went up there and I stayed past that time. And I was fucking pulling motherfuckers over. The last dude I pulled over was going about 70 miles an hour. I pulled him over. I think he was in like a fucking yellow Camaro or some shit. And I pulled his ass over, and he was like, oh, I'm just coming from the house. And I'm like, oh, okay. Well, it doesn't give you like the house is where they're doing the party at. And I was like, I don't give a shit. Like, you were speeding. You just blew 70 miles an hour through a fucking residential neighborhood through a stop sign without any due regard. In fact, I heard you accelerate before you even got through it. And I pulled his ass over, and next thing I know, I look to my left and I see 2 Crown Vics that are all blacked the fuck out. And they roll down the window. The driver rolls down the window and just stares at me, and they drive real fucking slow. Next thing I know, my fucking cell phone's blowing up. The radio's blowing up. Fucking, they're like, blah, blah, pick up. Finally pick up. I'm like, what? Like, I'm on a traffic stop. And they're like, you need to get the fuck out of there. What are you doing? We're getting complaints of an officer fucking doing traffic control in this area. You got to get the fuck out of there. And I got my ass chewed for doing my job in an area I wasn't supposed to be doing my job in at that moment. And I was like, well, that's bullshit. I wrote the ticket. I ended up going to court on it, and I fucking won. I mean, because I was like, this is bullshit. I'm not going to sit idly by and tell you, you're going to tell me I can't fucking do traffic control. And I was getting ready to fucking leave, and this dude blows 70 miles an hour through a residential neighborhood through a stop sign and accelerated. What if there was been a kid playing?
Well, at that hour of night, dude.
Yeah, I mean, well, this was like
that hour of night. You can have I'm making that argument.
I was working mid-watch, so it was like 6 p.m.
Okay.
6-7 p.m.
Yeah, I would think the party would be later than that with people leaving.
Oh, well, no, he was coming from I guess he was a family member of the person throwing the party. So he just lives there or was doing something there, and he was going to come back. But
my worst was walking up to the car, and the guy just took his badge and held it out the window. I was like, I kept walking. I walked up. I'm like, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Didn't you know? Haven't you told people don't accept a badge? Badges can be faked. Always ask for ID. I don't know you.
I got popped for speeding.
I didn't like to write cops, but that time I did because he pissed me off.
So
also,
what I do is
prison guards. That's another one. When you get like a prison guard or something, or a jail deputy or somebody, and they go, "I'm a peace officer," and they don't say I'm a cop, or they don't say I'm a police officer, or they don't say I'm a deputy sheriff, and they specifically use the phrase peace officer, or I'm in law enforcement instead of saying cop. Then you got to start digging because they probably work for the prison system.
I could see that. I never really dealt with that. I ran into I did run into a dispatcher who was a little bit 415.
No,
and she was like, "I'm a fucking dispatcher. Don't you recognize my voice?" And I was like, "I don't." I remember. Oh, dude's coming back, and I was like, "Ma'am, I had no idea who you are." She's like, "You didn't run my plate," and I'm like, "I did." Like, but it's not making sense to me. So I just want to call and see who you were. I was letting you know you're speeding. Da 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 da. And she's like, I'm a dispatcher for your fucking agency. Blah 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 blah. And I look at my partner. I'm like, what the fuck? And he's like, let's get the fuck out of here. He's like, ma'am, it's okay. Blah blah blah. We ended up fucking leaving. I don't know if we wrote her a ticket or not, but we fucking bounced. And I'm like, dude, I ain't trying to get bad blood with her.
No,
like, the last thing I need is her finding me.
My narco supervisor, we were working a case in one of our local cities, and he worked for the state, and he supervised our unit of local cops. And we were in a city to the north end of our county, and we were working a case, and he goes hauling ass off the freeway and making a bunch of illegal turns in a Nissan Maxima, right? Because that was his UC ride.
Right.
And he's, some Hispanic dude in a polo shirt driving his Nissan Maxima like an asshole. And so the locals pull him over. And one of their guys was on our team, right? And we had notified that city that we'd be working a case in their area and what area it was going to be. We did all our due diligence, but he still was driving like an asshole through a crowded freeway off-ramp intersection. And he got pulled over, and he puts out on the radio to the team, somebody's got to take points, somebody's got to pick the surveillance up. I just got pulled over. And I was like, okay. So we covered it. It was fine. But later on at the debrief, he was pissed. He's like, these fucking guys pulled me over. I'm like, dude, we don't share operational information, like what streets we're going to be on and what cars we're going to, like, right. He didn't know. He's doing his job. Like, relax.
And to the contrast to that, I had something similar when you brought up narco. I was, so I love narco. I had like multiple areas where I had narcotics expertise in it, where I could basically pick and stop anyone that matches drug addicts or tweakers description or anything like that I've been able to formulate based upon the area and what I've seen in the years working that area.
Right.
And I was in a no narco location that was selling out of the house, and we were trying to get an abatement on the house. So all the drug arrests in and around that house were good to go for the abatement. And so I was working the area with one of my partners, and I look, and we had just got a new narcotics unit in our station. And it's because it had been decommissioned for a while and they brought it back. However, these are all green UC guys for narco. And I should have been on that team, but that's here nor there. Anyways, so they brought them in from different parts of the city, right? And they placed them in. And a lot of the times when they're working and they're going to be doing a code 5 on a location, they have to come over the radio and be like, hey, we're doing a code 5 in this area.
That's a surveillance.
Don't drive by, or if you do, just pass us, don't stop us. All right, cool. They didn't do that.
Right.
However, if they did, they just told the watch commander, and that information never got disseminated down.
Yeah.
So we're sitting there, we're working, and it's dusk, like it's dark, right? And another, like, it was either a Nissan Altima, all blacked out windows, all shitty looking, or something similar to that. Like, we have a bunch that look all similar, like to that
right.
Keith's car. And so I'm looking and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, we run the plate, it comes back fucking no record on file. And I'm like, oh, dude, that's probably a G-Ride, bro. They probably just cold plated it for something that's just been fucking gone. And the dude looked at us and fucking goes like this back in the seat. And I'm like, oh shit. So we go up as like we're going to go see who it is. Cause I'm like, dude, what the fuck? And we put out the radio, like possible stolen vehicle. But we don't ask for a backup because we're trying to figure out what the fuck's going on. I'm drawing down on this car, and all of a sudden I see the fucking window roll down. He's like this. He's holding his badge.
Right. He's trying not to be.
Oh, fuck. And I come up and I holster, and I was like, partner, holster. I almost said his name. I was like, partner, holster. And he's like, what? I was like, code 4 real quick. And I'm like, hey, dude, what are you doing here? Who the fuck are you? And why are you in my city? And he goes,
what is it? Not your agency?
No, it was, but like I said, they're all new guys. So we didn't know they were working out of our station. We didn't know who the fuck they were. And he told us real quick. And I was like, Mom, get the fuck out of here. I was like, next time, put a fucking code 5 out. And then next thing you know, we get in the car, we fucking, we beat feet. And next thing you know, we hear over the radio, show us in code 5 in this location, and fucking, and he goes over the air. I'm like, God, dude, what the fuck, bro? Like, I know you're new in the division or the station that you're operating out of for narcotics. However, you should be able to understand that if you're going to do a code 5 somewhere, you should probably be like, hey, I'm here.
Yeah.
Because you're dressed down, the car record comes back not on file. And when you see that, and when these coppers saw that, to give a little bit of context to this last video, when you come back and you see that they fucked up probably one letter or one number, and it comes back to a Dodge Ram, you automatically go, that's a fucking cold plate. We got a stolen vehicle, and they're impersonating cops because I see the blue lights. Fuck that. We're pulling this car over. And then it comes back, no record on file. You're still in the same mindset, right? Regardless of what's going on. But that other video, they knew, because he's like, I'm the fucking chief of Zebra, and he's wearing his badge and all that stuff. And they're like, okay, we're just telling you we fucked up, because this is our thought process. He should be like, 100% agree. No worries. I got you. We're good.
Yeah, it should have been easy.
Right.
Yeah.
But
he made it.
Not exactly.
Well, so this one, enjoy this, because this is making the rounds. This is a Monroe County DA.
Oh, yeah. This is the one you're surprised?
Yeah. So this is, she gets pulled over. She makes it to her house. You can see her taillights are on in her house. And I think we're going to get audio here in a second. That's still pre-30 seconds.
Oh, yeah. He taps it right there. Beep, beep.
I'm the DA. I was going 55 coming home from work.
55 and a 35.
I don't really care.
Okay. Can you please come over here? This is on a traffic stop, ma'am.
Yes, it is. You can call Dennis Kohlmeyer right now.
Okay, I'm telling you why I stopped you. You didn't stop at all. Did you not hear my lights or sirens or anything?
No, I didn't actually. I was on the phone.
Okay.
Can't hear
you're
lights,
supposed to be on the phone while you're driving either.
Yes, I am with the hands-free. Absolutely.
Okay. Why are you so upset at me? I'm doing my job. You just admitted to me that you were going 55 and a 35 on Phillips Road.
It's
Officer Christopher. Can you stay over here, ma'am? This is a legal traffic stop. Do you have your ID?
Yeah, she's trying to be in her garage because she doesn't want her neighbors to see her. This is pride and ego.
That's officer safety big time right there.
Ma'am, can you please stay at the back? This is legal traffic stop.
Anyone else would have been hooked up at this point.
Oh yeah.
Sir, I stopped her for going 55 and a 35 on Phillips Road. And she failed to stop. She drove all the way back home and parked in her garage. And now she's not complying with any of my commands. Ma'am, do not go inside.
Oh my God.
Yeah, this is
This officer safety bad.
Right.
Bad.
Ma'am, come outside. You can't just go inside. This is a traffic stop. Here's your phone back.
I understand the law better than you.
953.
Yeah,
Can you have a supervisor come to the scene?
Yes, there you go.
I would hook her the fuck up. She'd been
I
handcuffed.
don't know why you're acting like this towards me. Can you please go to the back of the vehicle?
I'm not going to. I'm home. Okay, 55.
I don't care if you got home. You were supposed to stop at Phillips Road when I pulled you over. When my lights were initiated.
I didn't know you were stopping me. There was lots of other people on the road.
I was right behind you.
Yeah. I'm on the county road too.
Okay, I was directly behind you.
This is the shit.
Can you please step over here?
I'm not going to.
Okay, hook her up.
What is the reason
Dude.
you're so against what I'm doing? I'm doing my
It's
job.
on.
You say you're a
I'm gonna
DA?
pause this real quick.
I am the DA.
Okay.
Okay.
Fuck
Okay.
you.
So here's what I would say. At this point, I would say, ma'am, you need to understand something. Your job is not at issue right now. Your behavior is. And you know as well as I do that if you don't comply, I will be forced to place you in handcuffs.
Oh yeah, that should have came
Right
out
now, I need you to follow my instructions or I will place you in handcuffs. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'm making it crystal clear, right? You have to spell things out for people sometimes.
And you got to tell her stop using your position of power as a bargaining chip. Like this.
Yeah, are you threatening me with your
I
position?
just don't understand the hostility towards me. I'm doing my job.
Dude, anybody
Why am I
else?
being an asshole?
I am the DA of Monroe County.
I understand
DA.
that, but that doesn't give you a right to go 55 and a 35.
Trying to use her position
You
for
even
personal
admitted to me
gain.
that you went 50. I understand that, ma'am. I understand that.
I don't
You know
care.
what?
I don't really.
Give me a traffic ticket, that's fine. I'm the one who prosecutes it.
I'm the one who prosecutes it.
Go ahead.
Just go ahead and do it.
I just don't understand the hostility. I understand you're coming home from work.
Prosecute this motherfucker. Click clack.
Why are you pulling me over?
You're not even supposed to be on the phone to begin with. You should
yeah.
know that.
I'm hands-free? Absolutely.
Okay.
You should know the law.
Okay. If it is hands-free, that's great. But at the end of the day, you're going 55 and a 35. That's 20 miles over the speed limit.
Okay, you know what? That's fine. You know what I've been dealing with all day? 3 murders in the city. And do you think I really care if I was going 20 miles over the speed limit?
I'm just doing my
I would
job.
get
If
in
you
front of
pulled
the-
if you pulled over when you saw my lights, which obviously you did.
I thought you were going somewhere else because I thought no one would ever pull a black SUV if you ran my plates.
I didn't
Find
run
out.
your plate. I just called your plate out. And then I'm following you because you're not stopping. So I had to take the
What does a
air
black SUV have to deal with
from
anything?
dispatch.
Probably all the DAs, like all the important big wigs.
953. You can have the air back, by the way.
Maybe.
Just come
Is it
outside
city?
over here.
Is it? I wonder if it's a city plate.
Okay.
I don't know.
Because it blurted out.
It's probably a county plate because she's the
I'm having
DA.
a supervisor come because that's what my chief told me to do.
Yeah, this is a political hot
Do
potato.
you have your driver's license?
Because what do you do?
Showed you my driver's
You show me your badge.
Yeah, that's true. She did. We didn't say that, but she whips out her badge. And,
You thought the canine was coming?
no, I thought it was the canine, but it's her freaking labradoodle or whatever.
Like, oh, they're escalating this
I'm
quick.
like, what? But yeah, the last thing you want is
The DA.
canine.
Yeah.
And I was just trying to pull into my driveway. I was on the phone with Dennis Kohlmeyer saying, would you please tell the person who's following me that
Listen,
I'm almost home?
Ma'am, I understand you were going home, but I started my lights back at Phillips Road.
I'm on Phillips Road, yes,
Yes.
you did, and there are other cars.
I was right behind you, directly behind you.
Yeah. He's gonna have. Hopefully, he's
At the-
got
Go ahead,
in
listen,
car.
if you wanna-
At
like
the
I
end of
said,
the day,
go ahead if you want to write me a traffic ticket. That's
okay.
Well,
At the end
she
of
should
the
have
day-
yielded, anyways.
Yeah.
At the end of
I'd
the
hit
day,
her for failure
I'm
to yield.
stopping you for speed. If you
I'd hit
just
her.
a
stop-
really bad day. I've been dealing with
And I
murders
get
in the
it,
city
and I
all
get
the-
it. We have bad
I'm
days
sorry,
also,
I'm
man.
sorry.
Yeah, you've been dealing with having lunch
We have
with
bad
your
days also.
colleagues, DA.
I'm gonna just add it to the job real quick.
If she would have pulled over and she'd been like, "Hey, I'm sorry,"
Yep.
I'm
He
the
would have
fucking
been like,
DA. He'd
Just
be like,
go
"Oh,
up and
problem,
see you
action
later."
it. You don't have to use
Yep.
the air.
Just don't watch your speed.
Yep.
At the end
Ugh.
of the day, I was just making a traffic stop, doing my job, what I was supposed to do.
And that's what seriously, that's what pisses us off, right? That's what he's trying to get across to her is stop being a bitch and apologize for your behavior because I'm doing my job.
Yeah.
And you
That's
aren't
the number
she thinks she's above the law.
Yeah, that's the number one way to get a ticket. Like I wrote a ticket one time, and I didn't know the lady was a nurse. And there's a rule of thumb: you don't write nurses, you don't write dispatchers, you're writing a copper's a ticket, and even pizza deliveries. If they're in a pizza delivery cart, do not fucking pull them over unless you're doing something egregious, right? And then you give them a fucking warning because if you ever have to go to get hurt and go to the hospital, you don't want that fucking person working on you. You just give a ticket to. You don't want to get fucked by dispatch on fucking shitty calls, right? Give them a warning. You don't really want to have bad blood with your other brothers in blue. or sisters in blue or tan and green or whatever the fuck, right? So you give them warnings.
Mhm.
Hey, slow the fuck down. But if you are driving like an asshole again, I will be forced to write you, right? And then you don't write the pizza delivery guy because you don't know if he's going to be delivering your pizza at the next fucking perimeter or fucking stakeout or office thing, and then he's like, fuck these guys and spit all over your shit, right? You don't want to do that. So that's a good rule of thumb. I wrote a lady, or I was writing a ticket, I got her license, registration, proof of insurance, and I didn't register the fucking RN shit hanging from her rear view. I didn't see it as I come up with the ticket. I'm like, hey, this is your ticket. There's a reason why I stopped you again was for this code right here. I'm going to have you sign right here. And then she grabs it. And I was like, hold on. I take everything from her out of her hands. I go, who's a nurse? I just saw that you're a nurse. I just saw the RN thing. I just thought it was a lanyard. And she goes, oh, I'm a nurse and I work over at the fucking our major trauma center. And I was like, whoa. Why didn't you lead with that to begin with? Why didn't you just tell me, like, I'm sorry, I was coming from work, I'm a nurse over here. She goes, because I'm not trying to use my power for personal gain or something like along those lines. But basically that's what it boiled down to. I didn't want to use my position for personal gain. And I was like, I 100% respect that. I was like, you're getting a warning. And I wrote in front of her fucking void all over my ticket. I was like, I'll finish the paperwork later to void this shit out. You're not getting it. This isn't getting a ticket. I'm sorry. I'm going to let you go on a warning. And she was like so ecstatic. And I was like, she's like, why are you doing that? I was like, because if I ever get fucking hurt, I don't need bad blood at that hospital.
Yeah.
And she's like, I respect that. And I was like, thank you. Exactly.
Well, it's those kind of, I always would give people a break. And it wasn't just because you were a nurse or a dispatcher or a cop. If you were cool and you seemed like you were receptive to a warning, I would give you a warning. If you were an asshole, then clearly a warning wasn't going to work. So, all right, we're running out of time, so I want to get to this good video that my wife sent in. We have not watched it, so here we go. This is not part of our theme of cops behaving badly, or in some cases, DAs behaving badly.
DA was a jerk.
Yeah. So this is, here we go.
Yeah. You're gonna get bit by the dog, dude. You're gonna get bit by the dog.
Okay.
That's a gun.
Suspect.
Oh
You guys walking out of the store.
At 10:10 a.m. on April 13th, 2024, Clark County Sheriff's Deputy Cordero spotted a suspicious vehicle near the Regal Cinema 99 in the Hazeldale neighborhood, Vancouver, Washington. Deputy Cordero observed two people, a male, described as bald, and a female, described as having reddish hair, walking away from the vehicle. Deputy Cordero attempted to speak with them, but they continue leaving the area. At 10:38 a.m., deputies responded to a reported carjacking in Hazeldale in the 9,200 block of Northeast 15th Avenue, American Legion,
suspect
at 14,011 Northeast 20th Avenue. While discussing their next steps, a bald male walked out from behind a shipping container in the parking lot. Deputies observed the male suspect, later identified as 41-year-old Benjamin Stephen Woods of Prineville, Oregon, enter the American Legion. Deputies contacted Woods inside the American Legion, where an officer-involved shooting took place.
Hands up! What's going on?
Stop!
Send the dog.
You're gonna get bit by a dog.
Yeah, send the fucking dog. Man. You got a fur missile. And they haven't deployed him yet.
He's got something in his gun in his hand.
Gun in his hand.
I do not have a shot.
Get up closer, man. Shouldn't be the taser shouldn't be in front of you.
No, that's yeah.
Man, send the dog. There's people over there.
His tactics are all fucked.
Yeah. Wow. What a terror. Wow. And maybe this cop's moving.
Here, not here.
That dog's...
Ooh.
He's still on his knees. He's still on his knees. He doesn't know he's dead yet.
Don't move. Don't move.
Yeah, he does not know he's dead yet.
No.
That position right there is not normal. People
don't move.
His body's shutting down.
Yeah.
Right there on the ground.
Oh man. Yep.
Oh, he would have got shot again.
Yeah.
Ooh, so close to that gun.
Well, they can't do anything because he's still moving. He's still on his knees. He's still
Yeah.
kind of upright, even though he's leaning back.
No, I would have shot him again. The moment his hand was going like this, shot him again.
Yeah, that's all slow motion moving. Get these folks out of here. Yeah, let's get these folks out of here. At that point, I would be willing to approach him and secure the weapon.
Where's the dog?
I think the dog ran outside. He was having trouble controlling that dog. You hear him?
The dog's gone.
Here, plots. The dog's like, oh shit, squirrel. Yeah, at this point, I'd be approaching and securing the weapon because
That's the only thing you have to do.
He's not moving, and if he moves towards the weapon, you just smoke him again, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not moving. So for those of you that don't know, he was standing up and he dropped to his knees. And then he was like sitting on his knees, and then he starts to lean back and his arms kind of go up like a
down
cockroach.
in the entrance to the men's room.
And now
his
he's
backpack stopped him.
he's on his backpack and he's leaned up against.
Oh, there he goes. Yep. Yeah, he's now laid down.
He was leaned up against the wall with his backpack, and so gravity just hadn't fully taken over. But that is not a natural position for a human being, and I would safe to say the threat is over. Wow. So that's there's a lot to unpack there, man. That was.
I mean, good shooting. Carjacking suspect produces a weapon.
Good to go to shoot? Yes.
Yeah, the fucking tactics.
All the stuff leading up to the shooting?
It was bad. It almost looked like the copper.
Good.
No, it almost looked like the copper with the gun was afraid because that was a suspect who was armed. It almost seemed like he was a little afraid to go up with the dog side by side with the canine handler because the canine handler doesn't have a gun out. He's got the dog. He can't control the dog and have his firearm out at the same time. I mean,
the tactical team comes in.
Yeah.
Here's from the dog handler's perspective. Let's see that.
Yeah.
Because I'm very curious how the dog didn't get to play.
Hands in your pockets, Basar. You're gonna get bit by the dog.
He's right there.
You're gonna get bit
Right
by
there.
the dog.
No, just
dog's like, I don't want to
send him. Like full send right there.
Yeah. You're gonna get bit
Maybe
by
he's
the
worried
dog.
the dog's gonna get shot.
You're gonna get bit by the dog.
Maybe.
That's a gun.
At that point, he should have been lit the fuck up. So those of you that are,
oh my God.
if you're listening to this and not watching it, this canine handler's got the dog. The dog is like up on his back legs, front legs up. He is pulling. He wants this dude, and he keeps saying, "You're gonna get bit. You're gonna get bit." He's literally only less than 20 feet away from this guy at one point. That dog can cross that distance and have him on the ground quick, right, and in a hurry. Doesn't deploy the dog, just threatens with it for some reason.
And there's no shot because the copper who had the gun out with the canine handler, the moment the suspect starts walking away towards the American Legion and behind a car, that copper with the gun went around 4 different cars in the opposite direction. And the only thing I can think of is maybe he was afraid of getting shot or whatever.
Or shooting the dog.
It leaves the canine handler by himself. So the canine handler sees a gun. He's like, oh, fuck, that's a gun.
So here, right here.
You're going to get bit by the dog.
You're going to get bit. The guy's got his boom. Right there.
Pointing a gun at him.
Just pointed a gun at the handler and the dog. And I mean, at that point, I'm going to let the dog go. And yes, dogs, nobody wants to see a canine get shot. But
I don't have any other option.
That's your option right there. Now, there's his backdrop. There's that guy at the dumpster right there behind him. But he's off to his right. I think you could articulate. Now, that's the other thing. Where's this canine handler's cover officer? Because somebody should be standing right there with him with a gun out.
He didn't follow him. He went around the other opposite way. Because if he had followed him, he would have had a clean shot and he would have dumped him right there.
Yep. And instead, they let him get in to this American Legion Hall. Target-rich environment. That's a pretty calm way to identify a gun, though. That's a gun. So now the guy makes it into the back of the American Legion Hall. And he's just kind of walking. There he sends him. The dog goes right past him. Doesn't bite him. He said boss, and the dog didn't bite him. That's why.
I think he's a fucking dual purpose, like drug sniffing dog.
Dude, that's a shepherd.
Dude, you're gonna get shot.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty clean view of it.
Bro, dude, that thing looked like a cannon coming out at him. Look at this. Whoop.
Yep.
Bro, he wanted to die.
He wanted to die because he had him dead to rights.
He had to drop
dead to rights. He didn't shoot the dog.
Nope, didn't even shoot the cop.
Didn't shoot the cop. Like yeah. Wow. All right. Well, he got what he wanted.
Fuck, dude. Here's the problem I have is that the beginning you have 4 people with tasers or 3 people with tasers out. Only one needs a taser. You only need your one option for less than lethal, right? And then you have all these cops who are afraid to like converge and go online with the canine handler. And I'm like, I don't know if they're afraid, but it's kind of that's what it's appearing to be since I've been in this situation numerous times. I'm sure you have. I wouldn't leave that canine handler side. If the canine when we're doing searches with the canine handler, they're like, hey, you're my fucking cover officer. You don't leave my side. And we've found people like that in a fucking hiding. And I'm just like, I'll kill you. You fucking move. I'm going to kill you. And we let the dog do its work and fucking pull the suspect down. We hook him up. But you never leave that canine handler side because he's got to control that dog. He can't control the dog and a firearm at the same time. It's just not safe. So,
dude, I got hurt. One of the first injuries, the first big injuries I had was because I was the cover officer for the canine handler. And the dog was go, 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 go. And we were going down a hill and I put my foot in a hole that I didn't see. And my foot went to the left and my knee went to the right. And that was how the first big injury to my knee. And that was all because of a suspect. Someday I'll tell that story. That was no humans involved. And we should never have been chasing this dude. We knew who he was. He was a parolee at large. We just could have called his parole agent and had a PAL warrant for him.
Yeah.
But the sergeant got pissed. It was contempt of sergeant. And he said, no, we're chasing this motherfucker. And so, of course, we're chasing him with a dog in dusk, dark, low light conditions. But our agency, the dog handler handled the dog and a cover officer watched the dog handler.
All the time. So you're supposed to roll.
And when you work with canine handlers often enough, you start to know what they do and what they need. And so I had worked with canine handlers often enough that I was a good choice. They were happy with me watching their back because I understood the role. You don't give a rookie that role. It's a very specific role to watch the cover officer's back. You can have a rookie get trained to do it and see it and all that stuff. But if I were a canine handler, I'd want somebody who knew the job and was experienced to do that. So anyway, all right. Well, I guess it was cops behaving badly in a way, but not in the contempt of cop ego way that all these other assholes were doing it. So
yeah.
What do we have, Chuck? Take us out.
Well, I'm going to say one quick thing. If you're ever involved in a situation like we just watched and you watch that and you see that happen, hold that fucking debrief and be like, hey, guys, this can't happen. Anyways, I want to say thank you everyone for listening today. If you like today's podcast and the content we provide, please help us out by rating and reviewing us on whatever podcast platform you listen to us, Apple, Spotify, really whatever. Our podcast is on YouTube and on all major podcast streaming platforms. You can help support us by going to our Instagram at war_stories_official and our Facebook at War Stories Podcast. You can also go to our website, www.warstoriesofficial.com, and grab some gear, patches, whatever you want. If you have a story you want to tell or you think you could be a guest on the show, please go to booking.warstories@gmail.com. Again, that is booking.warstories@gmail.com. I can get you booked. We're always looking for veterans, law enforcement, firefighters, medics, corrections, dispatchers, and nurses. If you have a friend who you think would be a great fit for us, let them know about us. Give them our booking email. Show them our podcast, our Instagram, our Facebook, and all that good stuff. Link us up, and I can get them booked, or I can at least it opens up the conversation. Thank you for the support. Stay safe.
And to Jay Blanc, we got your email, Chuck. I forwarded it to him again. We understand what now you are missing, and so we will do our best to get that out to you as soon as possible. So I just wanted to say that on the air in case you're listening. And until our next episode, come home with your shield or on it.